Yes, this is Guy Erdman speaking. Uh, Freedom, what's that? Well, we're no longer free, we're monetarily controlled. Yes, monetarily controlled by our government. How do you say that? Well, our founders never had absolutely everything taxed, did they? No. We got everything taxes, and heavier things that are taxes are smoke, cigarettes, alcohol, and tobacco, and firearms also. Uh, yes. Oh, did Paul Revere have to license and register a horse? It's nice to identify it and have it branded. Yeah, once it'd be good enough. But no, our state governments wind up having us pay each and every year. Yes, each and every year. What for? To extract more money from us. Oh, and excise taxes too in some states. So you're paying more again. As for safety, I could go along with having them inspected once every 30,000 miles or 3 years. Good, but not each and every year. That's ridiculous. They're just extracting more money from us. It's sick. It's sick. Our government takes far, far too much money from us. And as for FDIC and loans, all Americans are paying, and you look at the paperwork, and I'm telling the truth, you wind up paying 2 or 3 times the amount cash price of your homes. Look at the paperwork. You signed it, FDIC. 2 to 3 times the amount of your house. I paid 122. My payments were about 1,050 a month for 30 years. Oh, it was 121 a month, and it came up to be $333,000. I refinanced after 4 years, paid it off in 15, dropped the PMI of $100 a month. So I paid it off in about 19 years, but still paid twice as much. Yeah, worked harder for it, twice as much harder. They're making slaves of us. You work harder on the credit cards, compounded interest on loans and student loans and personal loans and credit cards. And default rates on credit cards of 25 to 35%. That's raping us. That's not a fair, equal, just government. Our government leaders are way out of control and they're highly overpaid. Example. Oh, Governor LePage, he was voted #1 governor in the United States, paid $75,000 a year. Oh, Janet Mills comes in. Oh, I didn't get a vote on it, but her wages and salary have gone up to $150,000, twice as much. Did you and I and the people of Maine voted on that? No. But as for political things in our country, absolutely everything's taxed. Federal taxes, state taxes, land taxes, property taxes, it should be based upon usage. I don't have any water, gas, or sewage at my property. I've got my own well and water. So why am I paying such high, steep taxes? My taxes used to be about $13.50 a year. Now it's up to $36.50. Ooh, and our town leaders, they're making like $90,000 a year. Yeah, $15,000 more than Governor LePage. And there's only as for voting issues, you only have about 15% of the population voting, showing up for the votes. And then we get extravagantly high-priced town and city hall buildings, brand new stuff. Oh, there's $18 million amongst 11,000 people. So you're paying higher taxes and extremely high wages of $90,000 on town manager, 2 planners, an assistant one. Probably the fire chief and the police chief are probably getting excess of $75,000, but they're all overpaid. And my guess is, yes, our $175,000 state senators and representatives are paid far too much money too. And they spend money like it's going out of style. Doubling the national debt. $10 trillion over Obama. Where's the investigations on that? Where is it? It's criminal. 10 trillion, all the presidents previous to Obama. All of them, all the way up to George Washington. Oh my God. $10 trillion. He was as bad as the man he had killed, Osama bin Laden. Why? Acts of treason. Yeah, giving money to Muslims. No, I'm not a racist. I'm just telling you like it is. We get 2,000-year-old wars out in the Middle East between Muslims and Christians. It's been going on for 2,000 years. And we're so openly, freely letting him into our government and our society over here. We're going to have a Middle East war over here yet, too, because of our vast stupidity of letting him over here. Yeah. Oh, What? He gave $151 billion to Iran, who chants death to America, death to the United States, death to Israel, burns our flags, kills Christians, attacks our allies, Israel, Iraq, Kurds, Kuwait, and Christians, killing Christians and destroying churches and historical sites in the Middle East. And we should be overwhelmingly letting Muslims into our country who have, let's see, 9/11 bombing, Empire State bombings, bomb, two terrorist killing from same mosque, a Christmas party shooting mosque out in California, two of them from the same mosque, the Fort Hood killing, a couple of killings in New York and New Jersey of police officers with knives and axes. Long list of Muslims killing people in this country and overseas and abroad. We shouldn't be accepting them in our country so freely. It's not right. Freedom. What freedom? I want to know what's freedom. I hear politicians talk about this all the time. We're not free. Name one thing that's free. Oh, I can go outside and go for a walk. Yeah. I get out my car. Oh, I'm paying each and every year to have it licensed and registered. To extort more money from us. Like I said, you're paying 2 or 3 times the amount of price on your house. Federal, state, local taxes, permits, fees, fines, tolls, all the license, hunting, fishing license, tolls, stamps, this permits, fees, fines. It just goes on and on. It's the money, everything for a goddamn dollar. That's called monetarily controlled. Well, being monetarily controlled, and they say, a government that controls everything is very socialist. I believe our government's pretty socialist today. We got social security programs. We got job work programs. I was on a CETA program. They got me into a job working. Control. Every aspect of your life's controlled. You're born. The most freest thing in the world, being born. All the animals, birds, fishes, everything. Nothing. Costs nothing to get born. Humans, from $1,000 to $10,000 just being born, prenatal care and doctor's care. 1 to 10,000. You die, you're paying from $1,000 to probably $15,000 in funeral expenses. And death tax. There you die unless your family heirs the property to you or signs it over before they die. The government comes in and takes a chunk of change. Again, death tax. Take. We're not free. And as for Iran getting $151 billion, yes, all the politicians in Washington, D.C., in Senate and the House, that was $150 billion. That's 30 walls worth down along our southern border, and for one common goal of protection, safety of the American people, 300 million people. I'd say that's vastly important, but we spent 30 walls worth giving a terrorist supporting country that chants death to America, death to Israel and all our allies, and burns our flag. That's Obama. He's a treasonist. Released 5 terrorist leaders for a deserter, Bergdahl. And give him a hero's welcome? Are you shitting me? That was a serious act of treason within itself and a slap in our face to our military in this country. In the release from 2009 to 2015, 680 people from Gitmo to return to the battlefield. 30 to 50%, the news reported, back to the battlefield. That is treason and aiding and abetting terrorists. And as Mr. Morsi, Obama's buddy. Are we free? And then a little secret meetings going on. And then the news reported, a photographer came forth and said Obama had met with Louis Farrakhan, who is a white Jew racist. And yes, I'd say all other racists as well, because none of America's 100 and something plus races were invited to that meeting. So one race exclusion means that people at Louis Farrakhan's meeting was entirely racist against all Americans. Yeah, before Obama was ever even elected. And Maxine Waters and 5 black Democrats that are in Congress today are racist. and they're having an impact on our society. No, it's just the truth and it's facts. Oh, call for impeachment of Trump, who supports all races and has helped everybody in this country and hasn't, given money to terrorist supporting groups, $151 billion to Iran, 121 or $112 million to Palestinians who fire rockets and missiles at our ally Israel. So Obama ought to be tried as a traitor, treasonous to our country, many counts, and as a nuclear arms selling along with Hillary Clinton, wasn't even caught on the news 24/7 for 2 years, but sold uranium, 20% of our nation's supply, to Russia. Yes, actual factual things to Russia. So there you have it in a nutshell. Facts and truth all the way down. Multiple news stories I've remembered over the years. But Obama's a treasonist and a traitor. And as far as I'm concerned, Democratic Party was all in control of 8 years Obama, pretty much, and let him do as he pleased, like a little dictator, and did nothing to stop him. They should be also tried as treasonous traitors to our country because they let it happen and didn't stop him. And the Republicans, I am shamefully sad to say, they could have done more to stop him too. Nothing. No, let it all happen. $10 trillion. Where'd it all go? I say the FBI, the CIA, all law enforcement, the sheriff, the deputies, and our state police, and all the detective services ought to be investigating our politicians, their assets, their incomes, their wages, their safety deposit boxes, their onshore or offshore accounts and overseas accounts, their real estate dealings, stock holdings, bonds, and their safety deposit boxes. It should all be scrutinized. They ought to all be put under a microscope and say, where'd all that money come from over the last 10 years? Yeah, well, I like Trump. I voted for him because he's giving money back to our country. But he's had some shady dealings too with the casino in New Jersey and putting the boots to some contractors too. So he's not a saint either, but lesser of two evils. And he's been giving back the veterans. That's a good thing. You know, I'm not a businessman. I've had a small business. I plowed, I snowed. I had a little home hobbyist business, welded for 35 years, 3 shipyards, multitudes of jobs, dishwashers, cab drivers, landscaper, cut trees, peeled trees, home construction, drywall, painting, pipe fitter, janitorial service for the last 2 years of my career because I was injured. I got a rotator cuff injury. And I got my knees and joints are popping out. I have arthritis in my hands and neck and back. And I'm a little upset at our government. I'm sorry if I'm a little long-winded, but I'm an American. I'm a hard worker. And I filed for SSI, SSID too, and I'm on a pension at the moment. I share my house with 2 people, a couple of females. One's on disability, works down at Hanford. I help her out with rides. The other one works a couple jobs. So I share my home with a couple young ladies and, oh yeah, my dog. See, my dog. So there's all in a nutshell, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. I got a truck and I got a hybrid car and I got a little pension, but you know what? I wouldn't like to say like to be president. I wouldn't want the job, but the American people ought to say, hey, enough is enough. And when bottled water, yes, at a convenience store cost $16 a gallon, if you figure it out, 20-ounce bottle, if you get 8 of them, that's a gallon of water. That's $16 a gallon. That's 4 times as much price as a gallon of refined fuel. It's sick. Where's the government regulation on that? And as for state and federal parks, we paid enough taxes. Maybe some of the crimes people should be taking care of the parks, or some of the criminals that should do community service, keeping them cleaned up. And our parks that are in this country have been paid for by taxes many times over. Ought to be a free place for people to go on a weekend. Yeah, state and federal parks ought to be free places for us to go on a weekend. And people doing community services, committing crimes or whatever, they should be the ones cleaning up. We should have a free place to go. And our water, we should be able to drink, is the most fluent thing in this world, most readily available, should be at a lower cost. Yeah. Oh, well, you got to pay again here, extorted money. Oh, what about the old outhouse? You had a hole in the ground. Yeah, a cheap way to go. Poop goes in the ground. Nope, can't have that anymore. You got to spend $10,000 on a septic system. So there you got, they got you going again. Inspections on your house, inspections on the electrical, inspections, anything to extort money from you. We're not free in this country, and our Americans need to wake up and say, hey, enough is enough. We want our freedoms back. One license, registration per our personal property a year on a state basis should be enough. Inspections once every 3 years, 30,000 miles. That's my thought. Where's the freedom? 30 walls worth, yes, 30. 30 walls worth giving $151 billion and a nuclear deal to Iran. And we can't afford, one $5 billion wall? No, we spent 150 billion in a nuke deal, but we can't put a safety end on our borders. That's sick. Our politicians are sick, and there ought to be investigations on $10 trillion. And the American people ought to get behind it and say enough is enough and use our third branch of government, the judicial system, to sort it out, investigate all our leaders. Needs to happen today. Should have happened a long time ago. Where's the checks and balances in our government? That's why there's so much corruption, waste, fraud, and abuse. Okay, gotta go. Bye. Thank you. I ain't gonna stop. I hit that stop.